Hey guys, welcome back to Homework Help for Year 6, Term 2, Week 1. On page 10, we're doing this question here. It says find 1/4 of 480. 1/4, so imagine you have this box. This represents your number. So this is your 480. 1/4 just means we're going to chop this up into how many pieces? Into quarters, into 4 pieces. So we're going to chop it up into 4 pieces. And it says, what is one piece? What's 1 out of 4 pieces? So we take 1 out of 4. So if 480 divided by 4, you're going to get 120. So each one of these is 120. So 1/4 just means you only want 1 piece. So that's just 120. And there's your answer. If you want 2/4, you get 2 of them. So that's 2 times 120 is 240. Or if you want 3/4, that's 3 lots of 120s. And that's 360. And obviously 4/4 is the whole amount, so that's 4 times 120 is 480. So 1/4, just you only want 1 of them, so that's 120. 1/6, okay, so take that divided by 6, get the answer. Same thing. Alright, now it says evaluate this thing. So we have to apply BODMAS, okay? BODMAS, you see the brackets, so we must do the brackets first. So we must work on this, so we got 1 and 1/3 minus 2/5. Now, to subtract this, I would turn this into an improper fraction, and then we can subtract it. Might be easier for you to understand that way. Let me change this rubber so it's too big there. Okay, so there we go. That's better. All right. So what we're gonna do is to change the improper fraction, I'm gonna multiply the 1 down with the 3. 1 times 3 is 3. And then plus the top number, 3 plus the top 1 is 4, so that's 4 over 3, minus 2 over 5. Okay, so now now that we're minusing fractions like this, is a lot easier. All we gotta do is make the bottom number the same. So that means I'm gonna make them into 15. That's the lowest common multiple. Okay, we're gonna choose 15. Alright, so let me see. To do 15, I must multiply this one by 5 and times this top number by 5 as well. Now to get the other one to 15, I must multiply by 3, and if I times the bottom by 3, I must times the top by 3 as well. So now you're gonna get 5 times 4, that's 20, and 2 times 3, that's 6. So now you have this. So this bottom number is also 15 because they're both 15. Now 20 minus 6 is 14, and the answer is 14 over 15. Alright, now we're going to multiply that. So this whole thing turns into 14 on 15. And we're multiplying with this number here. So we haven't finished, we have to finish this off. 2.5 times by 14 on 15. Now to do this, we must convert this into improper fraction because we never multiply something like this. Okay, fraction multiplication requires that you have something over something times by something over something. Same thing for division as well. Okay, you cannot multiply a mixed numeral, so you have like that times of that. You can't do that. So we're gonna convert the mixed numeral into improper fraction. That's the only way. So now we're going to do 2 times 2, that's 4. Okay, so 4 plus 1 is 5. So that's 5 over 2 times it by 14 on 15. Alright, now this looks like big numbers, but if you remember that when we multiply, we can actually simplify the 2 numbers here. So all you gotta do is look at the top and bottom and see which one I can simplify. Can I simplify 5 and 2? Can I do that? No. 2 is a prime number and so is 5, so we can't do that. How about 14 and 15? Can I think of a number that can 14 and 15 can be divided by? That's not a 1? No, I can't. So how about we try something different? How about a 5 and a 15? Now that we can do. We know those 2 numbers can be divided by 5. They're multiples of 5. Okay, so I'm going to divide this by 5, and I'm going to divide this by 5. So now this thing becomes a 3. Let's circle that. And this thing becomes a 1. And now I'm going to look at the 2 and the 4. What can I divide those by? Well, they're both even numbers. And we know that even numbers can be divided by 2. So that's the easy way to do. So we can just divide this one by 2 and divide this one by 2. So remember, we can only do top and bottom, okay? So don't try and do a cross, okay? So what I mean by cross is if you have, let's say, 16 over 27 times it by, let's say, 8 over, I don't know, 15, something like that. Don't go, hey, I got a 16 and an 8. I'm gonna simplify, like divide this by 8, divide this by 8. I'll get 2 and a 1. No, don't do this. Never do a cross. Always one from the top and one from the bottom. Okay. So don't do across the top, or don't do across the bottom either. You can't do that. When you do that, you're gonna get an incorrect answer. But here we can do the top and bottom. We can do one from the top, one from the bottom. So just like this one here, I did one from the top here, one from the bottom. Yes, you can do that. Okay. Now we're gonna do this one. Now remember, this thing works when you're doing multiplication. Okay. So don't do that with this. For example, the subtraction here. Don't go, hey, I got a 20 and a 15. I'm gonna simplify that. No, you can't do that. Okay, you can't go across like that. You can simplify this fraction, or you can simplify this fraction, but don't go across. Only when you multiply, you're allowed to go across. Alright, so these are the rules that you must remember. So let's have a look here. 14 divided by 2, so that becomes 7. And 2 divided by 2, that just becomes 1. So now your new answer is 1 over 1 times it by 7 over 3. And the answer is just 7 over 3. 1 times 7, 7. 1 times 3 is 3. And there's your answer. Done. 7 over 3. Okay. So you can leave the answer as 7 over 3. Or you could change it back to mixed numerals and say, how many 3 is going to 7? Well, we know that's 2. Remainder 1, so that's 1 over 3. And you can choose any of these answers and they'll be correct. Okay. Alright, next question. Now we're going to do BODMAS again. So what we're going to do is we are going to do this first, and then we're going to do the division afterwards. So let's just focus on this part here. Now, what can I see here? We're doing multiplication. So when we do multiplication, we can simplify. Which numbers can be simplified? Well, I can see the 4 and the 8. Okay, I can divide them both by 2. This becomes, divide them both by 4. Yeah, you can divide by 2, but it's going to take an extra step. So why do that when divided by 4 is easier? So divided by 4, you get 1. Divided by 4, you get 2. Okay, and that's the best we can do. So now, this whole thing, I'm going to put it down here. You get 3 over 2 times it by 1 over 5. And let's see what that gives us. Well, we can't simplify any further. These are all prime numbers. So let's just multiply it across. So 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 5 is 10. So the answer is 3 on 10. Okay, so that first part comes 3 on 10. Now we have to do the second part and take that divided by, so this is 3 on 10, okay, and we still have to divide it by 2 on 3. That's the second step. So we're going to divide this by 2 on 3. Now when you divide fractions, all you got to do is just flip this upside down and change this from a divide to a times. So the first one always stays the same. The first fraction always stays the same. The divide transforms into a times, and the second fraction is flipped upside down, so it becomes 3 over 2. Now we're doing a multiplication again. Okay, so let's see, can we simplify anything? Not that I can see of. So if you can't simplify, just multiply it across. 3 times 3 is 9, and 2 times 10 is 20. The answer is 9 on 20. There's your answer. Alright, what is this? Question 2b. Okay, so again with the BODMAS, we're going to add this first. So we have to look to add fractions. Okay, the reason I'm adding this is because of the brackets. The brackets must be done first. Now to add fractions, you must make sure that the bottom number are the same. At the moment they're not the same, so you got to think of a number that can be divided by 2 and 5. and we're going to change into that number. So what's that called? We call that the lowest common multiple. Okay, so to find the lowest common multiple of 2 and 5, well, all you gotta do is choose the bigger number between 2 and 5. Obviously the 5 is bigger, and we have to write down the multiples of 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, just do a couple of them and see which one of these can be divided by 2. Can 5 be divided by 2? No. Can 10 be divided by 2? Yes. Can 15 divide by 2? No. Can 20 divide by 2? Yes. So we choose the lowest one, and obviously the lowest one is a 10. Okay. So this is how you can find the lowest common multiple. Whoops. Just choose the larger number, write down its multiple, and then see which one can be divided by the second number, which is a 2. So whoops, why isn't it rubbing now? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose a 10. 10 can be divided by both 2 and 5. Now to turn a 2 into a 10, I must multiply that by 5. And to turn a 5 into a 10, I must multiply that by 2. Okay, so now if I times the bottom number by 2, I must multiply the top number. If I times the bottom number by 5, I must multiply the top number by 5. And same with the other one. If I times the bottom number by 2, I must times the top number by 2. Now 5 times 1, that gives me a 5. And 2 times 2, that gives me a 4. Okay, now the question is this plus this, and you're going to get 9 over 10. Alright, so what does that mean? So that means this. That means that this stuff in the brackets, when added together, you're going to get 9 over 10. Now we're going to take 5 over 6 and we're dividing it by the 9 over 10. Okay, so that's the next step. Now to do this, again, all we got to do is leave the first fraction the same, 5 on 6. I'm going to flip this second fraction upside down, so this becomes 10 over 9. And then we're going to change the divide into a times, and there you go. Can we simplify anything here? Yes, we can. So you look at the top and bottom. Can we do a 5 and a 6? No. Can we do a 5 and a 9? No. Can we do a 10 and a 9? Nope. Can we do a 10 and a 6? Yes. So we just have to do, these are both even numbers. We can divide them both by 2. 6 divided by 2 gives me 3, and 10 divided by 2 gives me 5. So now you have 5 over 3 times 5 over 9. Now we can't simplify any further, so just multiply it across. 5 times 5 is 25. 3 times 9 is 27. So the answer is, so after all of this calculation, you're going to get 25 over 27. Okay, I hope you're starting to get the idea of how this works. So this is just asking you if you understand BODMAS and if you understand how to do fractions arithmetics. So again, we do the first one. We start with the times, okay, because we have times and divide. They're both the same level of importance. So we do the left to the right. We do left first, and then we do the right side. So let's do this one first. Now I can see here, this is a multiplication, right? And I can see that not this one and this one can be divided by 9. So divided by 9, you get 1. Divided by 9, you get 1. I'm going to circle that. Now I can look at the 2 and the 10. I can see that they're both even numbers. So I can divide them both by 2. 2 divided by 2 is a 1. 10 divided by 2 is a 5. Alright, let's multiply it. Let's just multiply it now. So we're going to work on this first. We'll deal with the division later. So 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 5 is 5. And there's your answer for the first part. Now we're going to take this second part and we're going to deal with this one now. So we're going to divide it by 5 over 8. Okay. Again, we're going to divide. So we're going to keep the first fraction the same. And flip the second fraction upside down and change the divide into times. Can we simplify anything? Oh, look, there's a 5 and a 5. Can I simplify this? Can I say, hey, I can divide them both by 5. This will be a 1 and this will be a 1. Can I do that? No, I can't. Okay. Again, you cannot do a cross like across here. You can only do top and bottom. And since nothing can be simplified here, I can't simplify anything at the moment, so it's multiplied across. So here you got 1 times 8 is 8, and 5 times 5 is 25, and there's your answer. Okay, next question is question 3. 3/5 of a number is 24. What is the number? 3/5 of a number. Sorry, not 3/5. 3/50th. So imagine this. Imagine if you don't understand what that question means. Imagine like this. Actually, let me just redraw this. Hopefully it turns into a rectangle. Yay! Okay, good. Now I'm going to. Nope. Let's just rotate this a little bit. Looks a bit off. Oh, come on. There we go. We have to do snapping. So it snaps into place. There we go. Now it's nice and horizontal. Okay. Actually, it's... whatever. Doesn't matter. Okay. So imagine this is your number. Some number. We don't know what the number is. Okay. So some number. Some random number. Now 3/50th of that number is 24. So imagine I took this number and I cut it into 50 pieces. Now I know this is not exactly, like the shapes are supposed to be all even pieces. I'm just doing a rough sketch, okay? So that's 5. I'm going to cut this into 10 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you can see that's 10. Okay, I'm not going to cut the rest. I'm just going to show you that, yes, I'm going to cut this number into 50 pieces. And I'm going to take 3 of them. So I'm going to take this piece. I'm going to take this piece. And I'm going to take this piece. So this is your 3 out of 50. All of this is 3 out of 50 of the number. 3/50th of a number. And what does that equal to? And that is 24. So all of this equals to 24. Okay. So if I was to cut them into all of this into 50 even pieces, you'll see that they're all supposed to be cut like evenly. Now it says, what is the number? So what is the whole amount? If part of the amount is 24, what is the whole amount? What is that equal to? So that's what the question is asking us to find. So all we got to do is say, okay, well, if 3 pieces is equal to 24, what's 1 piece? Well, if 3 pieces is 24, 24 divided by 3 is equal to 8. So 1 piece is equal to 8. So that's 8, 8, and 8. I don't know if you can see that. So that means that each piece is 8 because they're all the same size piece, all of them. Okay, and there's 50 pieces. Okay, so 1 piece is equal to 8. There are 50 pieces. So to find out what the number is, the number consists of 50 pieces. So that means we just do 50 times 8 and we get the whole number. 5 times 8 is 40. 40 with a 0, that's 400. So that means the number was 400. So there you go. That's it. That's just how you do it. Okay. Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. Okay, question 4. What is the lowest common denominator for this set of fractions? The lowest common denominator. All right. So they're looking for the LC. Well, denominator is, all right, that's M for multiple. Okay, so lowest common multiple. Lowest common denominator is the same as lowest common multiple. So what does that mean? That means you have the number 12, you got 18 and 24. And you want to find what is their multiple that's lowest, that's common. So what I mean by that is this: 12, 18, 24. So 12, what's the multiples of 12? Well, you got 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, and so on, right? What's multiples of 18? Well, you got 18, you got 36. What's 36 plus 18? Let me just check. I think it's 54. Yeah, 54. And then 72. Now let's look at 24. What's the multiples of 24? 24, 48, and then 72. Well, look at that. They're all the lowest number. That is the lowest multiple that is common to all of the 12, 18, and 24 is 72. See, we just figured it out just by doing this. All right, next one, question 5. The average of these numbers. Answer as mixed numerals. So to find the average, all we gotta do is add all these numbers up. So 2 1/4 plus with 3 1/3 plus with 1/6. Okay, so how are we gonna add this? I'll show you another way to add. Okay, so actually let me just put that back in. So I'm gonna deal with this first. I'm gonna add these two numbers first. So what we're gonna do is I'll show you a new method of adding mixed numerals. So I'm gonna do a whole number and I'm gonna do fraction. Normally what we would do is change them both into improper fraction and add it that way, okay? But I'm gonna show you another method. I'm gonna do whole number and fraction. So let's look at the whole numbers. What happens when we add the whole numbers? You got 2 plus 3. Okay, so that gives us 2 plus 3, that gives us 5. Now let's look at the fractions. 1/4 plus 1/3. How do you add this? Well, we're gonna make make the bottom number the same. That'll be 12, and that'll be 12. Okay, so times this by 3, times this by 3, times this by 4, times this by 4. 3 times 1 is 3, and 4 times 1 is 4, and we add it together, we're gonna get 7 on 12. And now we combine the whole number with the fraction. Well, the whole number is a 5, the fraction is a 7 on 12, so therefore when you add it together, you're gonna get 5, so 5 plus 7 on 12, you add them together, you're gonna get 5 and 7 twelfths. There you go, easy. Okay, now that's just adding the first two numbers. Now we're gonna add the third number. We have to add 1 on 6. So now I'm gonna put this to red, add 1 on 6. Okay, so again, I'm gonna just look at the whole numbers and the fraction. The whole number is a 5 and there's nothing there, so 0. 5 plus 0 equals to 5. Let's look at the fraction. Whoops, I already wrote fraction. Okay, so it'll be 7 on 12 plus with 1 on 6. Okay, the lowest common multiple of the 12 and the 6 is a 12. Okay, so we're going to change the 6 into a 12. We're going to just double this to make it 12, and we're going to double this as well. So now you're going to get 7 on 12. Well, let me just put it over here actually. 7 on 12 plus with 2 on 12, and that gives us 9 on 12. Now 9 on 12, we can simplify that, and we can see that this one is divisible by 3, this one is divisible by 3. So this will be 9 divided by 3 is 3, 12 divided by 3 is 4. So 9 on 12 can be simplified to 3 and 4. So the answer is, well, we got the whole number, which is a 5, and the fraction is a 3 and 4. So the answer is 5 3/4. Alright, that's just the first part. So it is it's quite complicated, right? You're gonna add all of this up, and then you get the answer is 5 3/4. But you're not done yet, because we're looking for the average. To find the average, you must, let me just clear, this is a bit messy. Let me just clear this up first. Okay, I'm rubbing this out. Okay, so once you add them all up, so we're going to add, so the total, so to find the average, we just add them all up. That's 2 1/4 plus with 3 1/3 plus with 1 on 6, and we divide it by how many numbers there are. How many numbers are there? There's 1 number, 2 number, 3 numbers, so we divide by 3. Now when we add all those numbers on top, we're going to get 5 and 3/4. Now we're dividing it by 3. Alright, so what does that mean? That means this. It means 5 and 3/4 is being divided by 3. A fraction is another way of saying division. Okay, the top number is being divided by the bottom number. Okay, so when you divide it by 3, you're thinking, oh, how you divide that? Well, you have to recognize that 3 is a whole number. It's not a fraction. Okay, it's just a whole number. So therefore, to change a whole number into a fraction, just put it over 1. So 3 is equal to 3 on 1, for example. For example, the number, let's say 18, is 18 on 1. Any whole number, when put into a fraction, becomes that number over 1. So the 3 has turned into a 3 on 1. Now we're dividing fractions, right? So you can't divide like this, remember. To divide fraction, we must change this one into improper fraction. So 5 times 4, that's 20. 20 plus 3 is 23. So 23 over 4. I change it to improper fraction. And now I can do division of like this. Right. Now, to do division of fraction, we must keep this one the same, 23 on 4. We flip this second one upside down, becomes 1 on 3, and we change the divide into a times, so that becomes like that. So now we just look at, oh, we're working with multiplication, great. Can we simplify anything? I'll always ask that question when you're multiplying fractions, okay? Try and simplify. If you can't, just multiply it across. In this case, you can't. So just multiply 23 times 1 is 23, and 4 times 3 is 12, and there's your answer. So now you can leave it like that, or you can, no, hold on, you can't. It says answers in mixed numeral. Okay, so you gotta change it to mixed numeral. So now we're gonna think, okay, how many 12s are there in 23? Well, there's only 1 and 11 on 12. Remainder of 11. Okay. So therefore, the answer is, rub this all out because it's messy, 1 and 11 on 12. And there's your answer. Okay, question 6. What is the result when 3/5 is multiplied by the reciprocal of... Now reciprocal means flip something upside down. Okay, to flip something upside down, you must have a top and a bottom. And then, so let's color this in red and color this in blue. So, reciprocal. When you do reciprocal, you flip upside down. So now the red is at the bottom and the blue is at the top. Okay, that's what reciprocal means. Just to flip something upside down. But to flip upside down, you need the top and bottom. This does not have a top and bottom. Well, it kind of does, but it's kind of weird. Okay, so you have to change this one to improper fraction. So now this 3 and 1/5. Let's change improper fraction. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 1 is 16, so 16 on 5. There you go. Now, it says, so what we're going to do is, it says find the result when 3/5, so let me just write it down here. So 3/5 is multiplied, so we're going to put it times, by the reciprocal of this number. Well, this number is 16 on 5, reciprocal of it, so reciprocate it. Flip it upside down, so reciprocate it. Reciprocal, and you're gonna get 5 on 16. Okay, so they want you to multiply this number by the reciprocal, which is the 5 on 16. Alright, so now we just multiply it across. Now let's have a look. Can I simplify anything? Yes, I can. The 5s. Okay, I can divide this by 5, I get 1. Divide this by 5, I get 1. How about 3 and 16? Nope. Can't do that. So now let's multiply it across. 3 times 1 is 3. 1 times 16 is 16. And there's your answer. My 16 looks a bit weird. Let me see, write it again. 3 on 16. There you go. Looks better. Okay, there's your answer. Question 7. 1/5 of the entire school population is year 7. Alright, let's just imagine this. Rectangle, please. Oh no, no rectangle this time. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so imagine I've got this. This is the entire. This box represents the entire school population. 1/5. So let's cut it into 5 pieces. I hope I can cut it right this time. So, okay. Okay. Let me just. There you go. Looks a bit better. So I've cut into 5 pieces. So 1/5 of the entire school population in year 7. So this is all the year 7s here. There you go. And 3/8 of the remainder is 8. So we're going to take the remainder. This is the remainder. Actually, let me just rewrite it here. This is the remainder. Okay. This rubber's too big. Okay. So the remainder, we want 3/8. So we want to cut the remainder into 8 pieces and take only 3 of them. Well, at the moment, the remainder is kind of 4 pieces. If we halve each piece, I'm going to halve each piece and we have 8 pieces, right? So half each piece. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Do I have 8 pieces? Yes, I do. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now I halve each of those pieces. So why not just halve the first piece as well? Let's halve it as well. Okay, so everything is nice and even. Okay, we have even pieces of everything. Okay. Now we know that 3. So let me just maybe I can. Is there a highlighter or something here? No. Okay, that's fine. So imagine the first one is the year 7. So this is all year 7s. Okay, yep, there they are. And let's do year 8 as green. And then we want 3, so 3/8 of the remainder is year 8. So that means that 3 pieces year 8. So this 3 pieces here is year 8. 3/8. This is the 3/8 that we're talking about. Alright. Now, if there are 180 students in year 8, so that means that all of these, whoops, all of this is 180 students. Okay, how many students are in year 7? Well, to find the number of students in year 7, we know that the entire school population, we cut it into how many pieces? We got 10 pieces altogether. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We cut into 10 equal pieces. Okay, now we know that 3 of those pieces are 180. Okay, so how much is 1 piece? So we take 180, we divide it by 3, and we get 60. That means that each of these pieces is worth 60 people. Alright. Now, year 7 has 2 pieces. So how many students are there in year 7? Well, that's 60 times 2. And that's equal to 120 people there. Okay, so maybe if I draw the diagram, I think it might help you to understand what's actually happening. Question 8. Linda spent 1/4 of her savings on a present for her mother. 1/4. And 3/20 on one for her brother. If she spends $46 altogether, how much money does she have left? Okay, so she spends. So this is she. Okay, so she spends. She spends 1/4, and then she spends another 3/20. So this is for her mother and for her brother, and altogether. So how much? So what fraction did she spend altogether? Well, let's add these 2 fractions together. Okay, so if you want to know how much what fraction she spent altogether, well, let's see. I want to look at these 2 numbers and say, what is the lowest common multiple? Well, lowest common multiple is 20. Okay, do not times them. Just think of the lowest common multiple. Well, it's 20. I'm just gonna time this by 5 and I'll get 20 straight away. Now, if I times the bottom by 5, must time the top by 5. So now the new fraction becomes 5 over 20 plus 3 over 20. Okay, so that becomes 8 over 20. So that means she spent 8 over 20. She spent 8/20. Let's simplify this. 8/20, we can divide this by, well, we can divide them by 2, but we can divide it by 4, even better number. The bigger number you can divide, the smaller, the more simple your fraction will be. So let's divide it by the biggest number we can think of is 4. Okay, so 8 divided by 4 will give me 2, 20 divided by 4 will give me 5. So that means she spent 2/5 of all her money. And she spent $46. So that means, so let's imagine what this looks like, okay? So again, I'm going to draw the box. Give me a rectangle. Yes, there we go. So she spent 2/5. So, oh, I can't change it anymore. All right. So 2/5. Let's see if I can divide this into 5 pieces. Okay, so maybe here. Actually, that's a bit too. Maybe here. 1. No. 2. 3. 4, 5. Alright. There, they look kind of the same, right? Now, she spent 2/5. How much she spent? This is how much she spends, okay? So what does that mean? She spent this much. Let me show you. Alright, so she spent that much on, buying stuff for her mother and her brother. And that is a total, so this is a total of $46. So the question is, how much money does she have left? So if she spends, this is how much she spends, which means that this amount here is how much she has left. Okay, so question is, how much is that? Well, let's find out. 46 is made up of 2 equal pieces. Okay, so 46 divided by 2, that gives you 23. So each piece is $23. That means that everything here is also 23. Now, we want to know how much she has left. Well, that's not too hard to calculate now that we know that. So how much she has left is here. This is how much she has left. All the green stuff. Alright. So, how much she has left? She has left three pieces, and each piece is worth $23. So 3 times 23, and that'll give you $69. She has $69 left. There's your answer. All right. Next one. When 16 liters of water are added to a water container, which is a half full, the container now is 2/3 full. How much liter of water can the container have when it's full? Okay, so let's just draw the container. See if I can I'll try my best. Okay. No, it didn't give me quadrilateral. No. I mean a rectangle. Alright. Something like that. Now, at the moment, so this is the container. When 16, okay, so at the moment it's half full. So half is roughly around about here. Okay, it's half full. So this is a half. I'm just going to put a half over here. Now, we're going to add 16 liters, and now it's 2/3 full. What does 2/3 looks like? Let me see. Divide this into 3 pieces. So here's about 1, and here's about 2, something like that. So that's 1/3, 2/3. So this is 1/3. No, actually, I'm not going to bother drawing that. So 1/3 is roughly here, 2/3 is roughly here. So 2/3 is here. Okay. So this is 1/3. This stuff here is stuff here is 1. Oh, too big. What's going on here? Okay. So here is 1/3. Okay. And this is 2/3. So what happened is, it used to be, I'll just color this in for you so you can see. So it used to be half full. Here's your half full of water. Right. Now, we're going to add some more water. So I'm going to make this a bit darker so you can see that this is different. Actually, I'll make this one darker. Because at the bottom. And now we're going to add 16 liters of water. And that is this one here. Okay? Okay. So this is yours. Whoops, that's a bit too much there. That's not there. Okay, so this is your 16 liters of water. Okay, so we added 16 liters and it turned from a half to 2/3. So now the question was, how many liters of water can the container have when it's full? So how much can this container hold when it's full? Well, we need to figure out what fraction. I'm gonna color this. What fraction this part is. Okay. So what we're gonna do, I need to figure out what fraction this is compared to the whole amount. So what we do is we take 2/3 and we subtract a half. That'll give us the fraction there. Because from here to here is 2/3. Whoops. And from here to here is only a half. Okay, so 2/3 subtract a half and you get this fraction here. We need that bit in terms of fraction. Okay, so let's subtract this and see what we get. Alright, so to subtract this, I need to make sure the bottom numbers are the same. So I'm gonna make it into a 6. Okay, so whoops. Make them both into 6. So to make it into a 6, I must multiply this by 2, times this by 2, and times this by 3, times this by 3. So now 2 times 2, that gives me 4, and 3 times 1, that gives me 3. And we're doing a subtraction. So 4 take away 3 is 1 and over 6. So that means that this portion here is 1/6 of the whole water tank. 1/6. Okay, so what does that mean? So 1/6 of the whole tank can hold is 16 liters. That's 16 liters because it says, 16 liters, right, of water was added. Now, so what is the whole? So how much water can the tank hold when it's full? Well, what does it mean by it's full? It means 6 out of 6 of the tank, of the whole tank. That's what it means. So how to go from 1/6 to 6/6 is times it by 6. Times it by 6 and you get 96 liters. So the whole tank can hold 96 liters. 1/6 of that is just 96 divided by 6 is 16. That makes sense. Okay. Okay, hope that helps.